Hello, I'm delighted to be here representing Ireland today at this really important time, I think, for European ministers to come together and discuss a range of conflicts in the world. I must say I'm absolutely appalled by the actions of Russia in terms of the attack on Kyiv and indeed the attack on the European delegation office there. This cannot be a consequence-free zone. I have instructed my officials to demarche the Russian diplomats in Ireland, but I think it's very important that the entire world speaks with one voice in its absolute condemnation of Russia's clear breach of the Vienna Convention. What's also clear is that while the world is talking about peace and how do we bring about peace and dialogue and diplomacy to end the war on Ukraine, it's quite clear that Russia is continuing to engage in the actions of terror, attacking a civilian population, showing no willingness for a ceasefire, and therefore I think it's imperative that those of us in the European Union now consider further sanctions. What more measures can be taken to increase the pressure on Russia to end this brutal, aggressive war on Ukraine and the huge impact that that's having on civilians? Can I also say, yesterday the United Nations Security Council decided to renew the mandate for the UNIFIL peacekeeping mission in Lebanon. This is a mission that Ireland has been involved in for many, many decades. So many thousands of people serving from Ireland in Lebanon with distinction, and indeed 47 Irish soldiers losing their life for the cause of peace in Lebanon. I think it's really important that the time now that exists between now and the end of 2027 is used and used well in terms of supporting the Lebanese armed forces. And I certainly intend to discuss with colleagues here today how the European Union can consider using our mechanisms in terms of providing training and support for the Lebanese armed forces. We've already done it in relation to Ukraine, we've done it in relation to Bosnia, and I think we really need to see now under the CDSP what we could do usefully to try and train and support the Lebanese armed forces. Certainly Ireland would be willing to have that conversation, and I look forward to starting that conversation and in the coming weeks tabling a paper to propose that Europe would consider a training mission specifically to help the Lebanese armed forces increase their capabilities in the time ahead.
The question, are there going to be any conversations about reaching an agreement on the situation in Gaza, on if there's going to be any measures towards Israel connected to the ongoing conflict?
Yeah, when I attend the Gymnich later today and tomorrow, I'll be making the point very clearly on behalf of the people of Ireland that the time for words of condemnation must end. Words of condemnation are important, but they're clearly not enough. We in Ireland have been arguing for a very long time that there needed to be a review of the association agreement between the EU and Israel. That finally happened. That found very clearly that Israel is absolutely in breach of its human rights obligations. Some member states asked for time to be given to Israel to rectify the situation. That simply has not happened. And the world is now looking to Europe to see, from a credibility point of view, are we now willing to act? There are 10 different areas that Europe has identified where sanctions or measures could be taken against Israel. It is absolutely imperative now that Europe matches its words of condemnation with concrete actions against Israel to help bring about a ceasefire, see a surge in humanitarian aid, and of course see the release of all the hostages. And I look forward to talking with colleagues about that. There's a whole spectrum of actions that could be taken under the association agreement to show Israel that Europe actually stands up for its values.
Another quick question about US interest for Greenland. They've not approved military operation there. Is there any? What's our information supporting Denmark and Greenland in that regard?
Well, Ireland fully supports and stands with the people of Denmark and the Danish government in relation to Greenland. And I think it's important that every country in the European Union stands with Denmark in relation to this matter. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. We're, of course, excited to be in Denmark and Copenhagen during the Danish presidency. We greatly appreciate the leadership that Denmark has provided us in the support for Ukraine. I expect a lot of our decisions today are actually going to be focused on how we can step up and further